We're tracking some severe thunderstorms that are making their way through the region as we go through our 6 o'clock hour. What are the ingredients for our severe thunderstorms? Let's take a look at them one by one. First off, temperatures are very warm this afternoon. Of course, you've noticed that if you've been outside. It's 76 in Oak Hill, 78 in Beckley, 74 in Bluefield, and 75 in Somersville. Even Marlinton has 70 degrees this hour. Lewisburg has 77. It's also very gusty, not just at the surface, but even in the middle and upper levels of the atmosphere, middle levels of the atmosphere in particular. And so some of that strong wind is being mixed down to the surface by these thunderstorms and with the sunshine that we're seeing. So it is quite gusty out there. Gusts out of the west between 20 and 25 miles per hour. Just about everywhere that you look here on the screen, including in Somersville, where it's out of the west at 22. Dew points are in the lower to middle 50s. Now, this is not necessarily out in the plains, big tornadoes kind of dew points that you would normally see there. You normally see dew points in the 60s and 70s. But even here in the 50s is pretty good, or at least marginal for severe thunderstorms. And of course, we've seen them already as we've gone through the last little bit. Current dew point sitting in the lower to middle 50s just about everywhere around the region except up in Marlinton. Now, the Doppler radar around the state shows us those thunderstorms, not just the one that we're tracking for you, not just the one that we talked about during the first weather, but also more thunderstorms off to the west from there. And all along where these thunderstorms have been, you can see the icons for large hail, baseball-sized hail, as I was telling you about during the first weather reported in the Charleston area and also back in Ohio. We've seen some very large reports of hail, very large hail reports, and now the thunderstorms are beginning to spread now. Severe thunderstorm warnings now to the north of Charleston up towards Parkersburg and eventually making their way towards Clarksburg as we go through the next several minutes. And this is the one that we're tracking the most intensely for you because this is the one that's going to affect part of our area. You can see Nicholas and also into Fayette counties. This goes until 7 o'clock this evening, and as it moves off to the east at a very, very rapid clip. Now, zooming it out now to the full range. Now, again, you can see that severe thunderstorm watch box. And so let's go ahead and zoom in and give you an idea of where it's going to be. First off, where it is right now, just getting ready to make its way into Nicholas County. So there's Drennan right there. There's Odelltown a little bit further off to the east from there. There's Spangler and also Clendenin, I believe it is, Clay, and also Dill as he heads off towards, again, Nicholas County. So watch out if you're going to be in Nicholas County and Fayette County as well, especially in the northern portion of the county, which is going to get clipped by this strong thunderstorm. So where is it going over the next little bit? There's Drennan, there's Gilboa, there's Somersville, 6:53 p.m. for you, Beaver at 7:13, and Richwood at 7:29, of course, at the very end of the box, provided that it stays severe. And it looks like there's no reason to think at this moment that it is not going to stay severe. It has been severe for at least an hour or two now as it passed its way to the north of Charleston about an hour or so ago. High winds are the main threat as we go through this evening, but large hail, as we've already seen in portions of both West Virginia and Ohio, is possible. An isolated tornado is also possible. We did see that tornado warning in the Charleston area, and it just touched into our area. So there's another possibility that there could be some spin-ups as we go through the next several hours. The tornadoes are not as likely, certainly, as the high winds and the large hail, but it is a possibility. And flooding is also possible because these thunderstorms have heavy rain attached to them. And so if you find yourself underneath one of these thunderstorms, not only will hail be an issue, but there's a possibility for some standing water on the roads and in isolated areas that tend to gather water when you see the heavy rains come. Those low-lying spots that we'd like to talk about. Futurecast as we go through this evening, look at this line. Wow, that's a very intense line indeed, making its way through the region. In the Greenbrier Valley by 9:30 tonight, and also towards the southern coal fields. Another batch of strong thunderstorms is indicated by the Futurecast again as we go through our 11:30 time frame. Finally, as we go through our Tuesday morning and Tuesday afternoon commute, it'll be much better with more just general showers. And on the backside of our low pressure center, as it passes off to our north, snow is possible in the higher elevations above 3,000 feet, as of course temperatures will begin to really plummet once we see this front make its way through the region. So the Futurecast rainfall is calling for heavy amounts of rain possibly. This is why we're talking about standing water on the roads and isolated ponding as well over the next day or so, a day or two perhaps. ARH, aches and pains forecast. Of course, lots of aches and pains as we go through this evening. And then we're going to see the temperatures and the pressures rise a little bit as we go through our 7-day forecast. There they are. How about some lower to middle 70s? That'll be nice relief after we deal with these thunderstorms. Lows will be sitting in the lower to middle 50s. That's your weather. More news and sports comes up in just a couple of minutes.